That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
What's up, fam? Thursday nights, Birds of a Feather, live on a2dradio.com, coming at you from all of our own personal Real Talk studios. I'm in the Blue Lagoon, fam. Good to see you. Myself, Chucks, Pete, I'm pointing the wrong way. I think I got that one right. Jeff, joining us tonight in place of Big Dad, who, congratulations, just had baby Cass with Lena, with the boss, Lena. We want to say congratulations, happy, healthy baby boy. So he's out for the foreseeable future. We got Jake filling in here, and we're going to show some love to our sponsors here. And Ryan Brodo on the ones and twos is going to kill it in the back room here. But we're brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal in Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. No appointment necessary. Aches, pains, any kind of body issues that you have, hit up the doc. He'll take care of you, and he's the best. So we're sending you his way. Also, guys, a lot of major issues in this country with mental health and addiction. We're very happy here at A2D Radio to support the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. So for yourself or anybody that you know, because we have to look out for each other. If anybody needs help, needs an outlet and someplace to reach out to, please dial that number that you see on the screen, 856-651-8117. Again, Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox, 856-651-8117. Got to take care of yourselves, take care of everything at home. And obviously, our topic of conversation tonight brought to you by Body Check Wellness, innovating the game with hemp and all that good stuff, CBD oils and whatnot, for recovery, specifically for you sports athletes out there, guys. You're going to use the promo code. Go on there, check it out. Promo code A2D gets you 20% off. And oh, by the way, Riley Cote joins us, former Philadelphia Flyer, monthly on the Hockey Happy Hour on Thursday nights, who, by the way, you can catch after us tonight at 10 p.m. And when Riley is on there, they drew a special promotion for a package that they offer where that you can get 40% off, and it's awesome. So make sure you guys are checking them out. BodyCheckWellness.com. Topic of conversation, I guess lots to talk about. The same, by the way. Carson Wentz still on the trade block, still not moved, and we want to know from you guys, and we're going to answer the question ourselves. The Eagles will still get at least one first-round pick in return for Carson Wentz. Agree, disagree, guys. This is the whole reason why we preach on this station, why listening to every report is and reacting immediately, which is what this goddamn city does. They react to everything immediately as if it's fact, because if it's on the internet, it's fact. That we get into these positions where Carson's out the door, he's going to the Bears, he's going to the Colts, it's a done deal, we're getting Tariq Cohen. The other night, David Montgomery puts a tweet up, and all of a sudden, we're getting David Montgomery now too. It's just this vicious, awful, ongoing cycle that continues to go on. Today, reports today from multiple different outlets, specifically, and I can read the quote. Let me read the quote, because I want to get your guys' reactions in your response as well. But there was a quote from Jaws, who has been a guest on here. And Jaws said today, quote, "My understanding is that the Colts have offered 2 second-round draft choices and maybe a third or fourth somewhere down the road. That appears to be the best offer that I've heard from all sources I have from around the league. That's the best actual offer that has been made. I'm sure the Eagles, Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, would like to get a number one out of this, but as of now, that doesn't seem to be happening," end quote. Another thing I had touched on, and again, I probably should have done my research before we went on the air, was I saw on NFL Network, and again, you have to pick and choose, I guess, who you're going to believe, guys, because there was one of the analysts on the NFL Network about 2 or 3 days ago, and they talked about, do you believe Carson Wentz is going to get moved? He's one of their insiders. He said, if you'd asked me a week ago, I'd have said 50-50. He said, now I think it's highly more likely to happen than not. He said, I'll be at like 51-49, maybe a slight smudge above that. But he said, it is not out of the possibility that Carson Wentz does not get moved. And it's something that we've talked about here a lot. Does it seem likely that he will at this point? Does it seem like there's a lot of dissension amongst the ranks of the Philadelphia Eagles and between them and their quarterback? Absolutely. But again, you're now starting to hear whispers of maybe this guy won't get moved. And is that the reason I bring this up is a lot of people have mentioned that the Eagles don't seem to be willing to settle for less than their asking price. And my question is it possible also in your guys' eyes that is it encouraging to you if the Eagles say we're going to go into camp with them if we don't get our asking price met, and if they stick to that? So I kind of want to, I know I've thrown a lot at you guys with the poll question, but I feel like that stuff had to kind of be put out there to have the full conversation of this, because there is rumblings now that although he's likely to be moved, he could still end up being here when training camp opens. So I'm going to defer. I'm going to go to Pete first here. Pete, what are your feelings on the poll question? Do you feel like if he's moved that the Eagles will get a first-round pick? And also, I want to know, would you have a problem if he's on this roster opening we'll say opening of training camp?
10 minutes, Pete. You got 10 minutes.
10 minutes, right?
I'll shut that. Listen, I'm on the start. I'll shut that shit down. Figure it out and get it in quick.
I've never been afraid of anyone wearing a St. Louis Cardinals hat and a Mickey Mouse T-shirt and sipping through a straw out of a collector's cup. So,
but my beard game is strong tonight, though, bro.
So is mine.
Yeah, I mean yours is whatever. Who wears a winter hat? You're in the house wearing a winter hat, bro. You got nothing to talk. It probably has a little ball on top of it. It does too, don't it? I know it. See, fuck out of here. Don't hate on my attire, bro. Don't do it, Pete.
Hey,
I told you guys I'm itching.
At least it's for a team in this area. It's a team in this area. You know what I mean? I ride with my team, regardless.
Doesn't matter. This team right here made this area its bitch in 2011.
Okay. As you were.
Anyway,
I'm looking for a fight tonight. Tom's not here. I'm looking for a fight.
Into your 10 minutes, Pete. Go.
Yeah. All right. So, no, I agree to the poll. No, I wouldn't have a problem with him being on this team. But at this point, you got to kind of read through all the bullshit. You know what I mean? I think right now, last week we were hearing all these reports that was coming out every day. I think that was a lot of first initial reaction, especially reaction to the Stafford trade. And teams kind of panicking a little bit and saying, hey, we need to get somebody. Let's get our guy because we need to have a better situation. All right. Outside of Trevor Lawrence, I mean, Carson may be the second best. If he was in this draft, outside of Trevor Lawrence, he'd probably be the second quarterback to go. And teams have to know that. And this is kind of that thing now where they kind of hit the reset. You know what I mean? Crumb City, this fucking little shit.
Screw the Cardinals and their devil magic. Hey, we got Nolan Arenado for peanuts. Peanuts.
You did get him for peanuts, and got Colorado to kick in too. I don't know how that happened, but
like a lot of money.
I think now everybody just hit the reset button and kind of just taking a step back. But see, this is the thing. It can kind of go like a curve. Right now, the market for him is not what it was last week, obviously, and Howie obviously didn't get a deal that he liked last week, or else Wentz would have already been gone.
Jimmy, I'm heel chrome for a reason, Jimmy.
So it's kind of like that thing now where the curve is down, but just as quick, that curve can go back up. As soon as one of these other quarterbacks comes off the market again, his stock becomes more relevant. But at this point, to speak to your point where Carson, hey, there may be a chance you can still be here because we're not getting the deal that we want out of you or for you. This is where you go to his camp and his agent, I think it's Ryan Todler or Ryan Tolder or some shit like that, and say, listen, you want to get out of here? You really don't want to be here? Go fucking work some magic and hype yourself up because obviously your play on the field last year didn't sell itself enough to get a first round pick. So you need to go out there and sell yourself. Go out there and sell yourself, or move some money around to make it easier, so we can actually sit there and let you go for maybe a second round pick, because we're not taking that big of a cap hit. Listen, I can't say that Don because I may actually have some action figures myself. Like right now, I'm not gonna lie, I'll put it on camera. Here go pop right here, a little fin pop. I got those
are pop vinyls. Big difference.
There's no difference. It's a fucking standing figure. It's the same thing.
I have
Arms don't move.
You know how many variants of Westbrook I have of Marlins? So I got actually.
You probably don't play with them though. Like your hands don't touch them and stuff like
Johnny
that.
Mac.
They're gonna get handed down to Grayson. You know, they're gonna hand it down once I'm done with them.
Okay. But but that's kind of where I'm at. They can kind of go to a point like, hey, listen, there may be a chance that you're here. You're going to be in a position with this team that you don't want to be in, solely because you feel as if you're the guy, your ego is hurt, and you can't get past that. And you have to tell him, like, listen, go out there and sell yourself. And now I will say this real quick before we move on. I'm still under my 10 minutes. Anybody out there who thinks that Carson quit on this fucking team, you need to go. This shit didn't get like this year. You see what I'm saying? Like, they put a statue up of the two people who they credit to winning the Super Bowl and made it seem like he did absolutely nothing in 2017. I'm almost to the point now where I think this shit is so rooted that no matter how the season would have ended up, I think he wanted out. He wanted change. Even if he didn't get benched, even if they made the playoffs, I think a part of him felt like it's hard to sit there and you take a team to the promised land, essentially, have Nick Foles finish a job, then they bring him back the next year when they could have got more than enough value for Nick Foles in the 2018 offseason. Then you get hurt again, have Foles come in and save the day again. Then you finally think you do it. You finally think you do it in 2019. You literally put the team on your back, have no wide receivers to throw to, win the last 4 games, get into the playoffs. You get knocked out of the playoff game, not by your own shit, like it was a dirty hit. So you think you're safe. He's finally almost healed mentally from that. Then what do you go fucking do with the 53rd pick in this year's draft? The cycle starts all fucking over again. And that's hard, bro. That's traumatizing for anybody. I'm not trying to sit here and take away from his play on the field, but I could definitely understand where he came from, and to sit here and say that he quit on his team. No, part of the organization quit on him. They couldn't make up their mind, and they thought this is what you do. How many people out there could really be satisfied in a relationship where the only thing the person does is buy your love? Right? The Eagles threw money at him and thought he'd be happy. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money, but we always hear money don't fucking buy happiness, right? We always hear that in every fucking walk of life. Why is it any different from football? The Eagles threw money at him, but didn't show him that they really had his back, and they've done that for years. They've always been 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I've said this shit 2 years ago. There's no fucking way Nick Foles should have came back on his team in 2018. No way. And now, look, you may have to sell him for a bag of peanuts and say second round pick. But before I get to that point, if I'm Howie, I'm calling his people like, yo, listen, you want out of here that bad? Go sell yourself, because we're hyping you up, but I can't hype you up with these stats. I can't hype you up with these stats and this shit you put on the field last year. Regardless of the team that I built, then I put together on the field with you, I can't hype this up to the point where I can get a first round pick for you. And the market is showing you that. But as soon as we say that, this shit can change and flip on the dime if somebody else gets traded tomorrow. Gets traded tomorrow, next week we're having a whole fucking different conversation.
Yeah, and I think that's, to that point, Pete, we saw the comment, I don't remember who it was earlier, said, well, if that's the best offer, stop answering the phone and say that he's going to be the quarterback. Well, you can't do that. I think people saw it's a real weird market this year, right? Because you're starting to see these like franchise quarterbacks. And honestly, Pete, I'd even put this like it's a weird thing across sports, right? Because we made jokes about the Arenado thing, but we saw, him and we saw Francisco Lindor with the Mets. we're starting to see these athletes who have these long-term commitments, right? Which was always like a signed, sealed, delivered. They're not going to get moved because of the financial commitment. You can't. And you're starting to see this kind of open up, right? So I've seen the question asked, is this going to be the start of a new trend where, these quarterbacks who are these franchise quarterbacks aren't guaranteed to be where they are because you're seeing Matt Stafford get moved and you're hearing about Russell Wilson. I don't know if I really believe a whole lot of that, but Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson, there's all these incredibly big names in the quarterback market, right? And the thing is, like, guys, you don't have to react. We don't have to make a decision right away. It drives me up a wall that every day on all of our shows, not even just on these shows, but everywhere you go, everybody says, well, we got to figure it out right now. No, you got until August to get, maybe June or July to get that shit figured out.
The third day of the league new year hits, not only does his bonus becomes guaranteed.
Oh, right.
The $22 million
but that's
2022 becomes guaranteed.
Sure. Right. But to that point, I don't believe, if he's here beyond that point, I don't believe they trade him at all. I don't think they mind taking the cap this year.
Wait. But
they
can move that back.
Yeah.
That's the thing that Wentz's camp has said that he's willing to be open to help the Eagles facilitate a trade. And so a big talking point now is that what was looked at as that deadline can be moved back, or he can say, hey, I'll give it back to you. So that's not as big of a hurdle as it was. And that key point helps give the Eagles a little bit more leverage. But I'll let you guys finish before I get into my take.
But yeah, I mean, personally, I if that does become a thing, first of all, I don't want to push more money back. I'm kind of overdoing that all the time at this point. This is the year to take the cap hit. If you're going to take the hit, honestly, just do it this year. Punt the year. I feel like they're going to, even if they don't try to, they're going to end up punting the year anyway at this point. Just chalk it up as a loss. Use this year to get yourself reset, reorganized, get your head coach acclimated, get a system in place, and then go from there. Personally, that's how I feel. And kissing. Cassian just said how he can kiss his ass. That's funny. But to what you said, though, Pete.
Question, Chrome? Did you see more McCabe? She said, "Is this worse than the Chip Kelly debacle?" That's a simple yes or no. I think it is personally.
This is one of the worst debacles in the history of Philadelphia sports. Yeah. This is to me, without question, and you can even go over the Reggie White one. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not yet. We'll see how it plays out, but this has the potential to be worse than the Reggie White one. Or at least on that level. This has the potential to be Charles Barkley getting moved from the Sixers type of move. Like, there's a lot on the line by making this decision. You're taking a lot of risk. And I saw the question mentioned here earlier, too. Somebody mentioned or asked the question, Wentz for what Russell Wilson? I say absolutely not. Because if you're moving on from Wentz, you're getting younger. Because you're still, even if you have Russell Wilson, it's not going to change anything. You're not getting that much better to where you're going to be competing for a Super Bowl, right? It's going to be a couple of years before I think this team bounces back. And you're wasting really what's going to end up starting to be the twilight of Russell Wilson's prime years before you really become a powerhouse again. So at this point, Russell Wilson makes zero sense. If you're moving on from Carson Wentz, you got to go younger, whether it's Jalen Hurts or you end up drafting a quarterback this year or next year, you have to go younger, at the quarterback position. And for me right now, I'm going to say agree for the simple fact of if he's traded, you have to get a first round pick back. So I can't imagine that they're that desperate to move on from him right this second, because it doesn't seem that way to me, that they would give him away and not get the proper. Maybe we're not going to get 2 picks, guys. Maybe we're not. I know that's a pipe dream and we talked about it, and that's fine. But you have to get at least a first-round pick for him. And on top of that, when you look at the situation and everything that's kind of ongoing, I still feel like there's things that we haven't heard. Everybody's saying Howie. Yeah. I'm leaning more towards Jeffrey Lurie being the big problem here. really big problem here.
Could be.
And I think Howie's more of a yes man who takes a lot of the heat. Nobody can hold Jeffrey Lurie accountable to things. Everything is Howie. There's nobody above Jeffrey Lurie to hold him accountable. But there's a lot of guys under him that we can point the fingers at, and he can deflect. I mean, the way he defends Howie is like defending your kid. And I don't think it's because Howie's doing a great job either. I think there's a lot more to that. But, you know, you have to get – if you're going to move on from him, you have to get younger. You can't go for the Russell Wilson. And I do think, too, the reason this is heated up so much is because we just saw the Matt Stafford trade, that immediately people think that when you see these moves, it's going to be an immediate trickle-down effect that you're going to start seeing guys come off the board, right? It's like Pete and Jake and Jeff, I know you guys know this because you're baseball guys too. It's like free agency, right? How often do we see in the offseason, you know, there's like one or two names that you wait for those to go first, and that dictates the market. And I think right now there's a stalemate of in between the organization because you see what you got from Matt Stafford, and then what people are willing to give up of what is the true market now for these other quarterbacks. You know, is the Matt Stafford? I think they way overpaid for Matt Stafford. No offense, I like Matt Stafford, but at this point in his career, I thought that they gave up a ton to get him. They have to win a Super Bowl.
You had to do that because of the golf contract. But I think if you get Wentz's 19 season, like his last year, he puts up the same numbers this year.
Sure,
it's not even. It's a no brainer. Like he gets 2 number ones.
The Eagles cannot react to the bat. They can't. I know his trade value is down. But the fact that there's so many teams interested, the fact that he's such a topic all over the country, you cannot react to the down year this year. You have to put into fact when you're in trade negotiations, everything he did from 16 to 19, and whether people in this city want to admit it or not, use your fucking head, use the Google machine, use your eyes, and look at the numbers he put up compared to a lot of the quarterbacks his age who were quote unquote considered elite. Taking Pat Mahomes out, not that far off from a lot of them. So a lot of them he's better than. He was a top quarterback in the league, top young guy. So I think they have to stand pat. They cannot give him away for free. And if you can't get what he should dictate back, you keep the quarterback. Look at moving him after next year. Then if it's still bad, whoever wants to go.
I think that one. I do think the Eagles will still get a first-round pick. I agree to the poll. I still think – I know that Jaworski talked about the Colts offer and that being the best offer out there. I'm not attacking Jaworski or Jaws, for his reporting. I just don't know who to believe because the report was that the Bears offered a significant offer involving a first-round pick. We don't – and that's from – who was it, Brandon Robinson? So like I don't know who to believe, which team it was that offered the best pick. What I do know is that Howie, I'm pretty sure we can all agree Howie wants at least a first. If not, his asking price is 2 firsts, but he wants at least a first. So I think that we still will be able to get a first for Wentz. Now I talked about earlier moving that date for his signing bonus. That's keep in mind that's separate from the dead cap hit. That's
Sam, you're not even getting one now. Though. I'm sorry. Some of these I want to react to as they come up, so we don't lose them. Mm-hmm. Sam, they're not getting. There's a good chance. We don't know for sure, but there's a chance they're not getting one right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if they're not moving him because they're not getting a first round pick, it's not going to make a difference then next year either. If you weren't getting one this year, you're not going to get one next year.
Yeah. So, that date for that signing bonus, the roster bonus, that can be moved, that can be negotiated. But no matter what the Eagles do, they're going to take a dead cap hit. That's that figure of 30 plus something. That's going to be a dead cap hit that the Eagles can't get out of. But that roster bonus can be moved and. So that's the key thing here is if you look at that, if they can move it back, that gives the Eagles more leverage. And if you are of the belief that the Bears are the ones that want him the most, or even any team that's desperate for a quarterback, you have to also figure that, okay, they want a quarterback. They're gonna want to have to pull the trigger at some point. Now, the Bears called about Derek Carr, and the Raiders were asking for too much. So Derek Carr is off the table for them. You know, you talk about Watson, his asking price is going to be astronomical. All right, and there are other quarterbacks, but at some point, someone's got to flinch. Someone's going to have to take the bite. And I think if you're talking about the Bears and the Eagles, I think the first one to bite would be the Bears. I think they would be Ryan Pace. Benjamin Solak made a good point, is that Ryan Pace and Nagy, their jobs aren't safe. So they're not in it for the long run. They're in it for this year. They have to get something done. They need a quarterback immediately to contribute this year. So they don't care about future picks. You know, they need to be able to get the quarterback now. And so the pressure is more on them if you're talking about Bears and Eagles. Now, if you're talking about other teams, I think the Colts are a different story. I think the Colts can stay pat. But another team that I am keeping an eye on, and I've kept an eye on since I read about them inquiring for Stafford, are the Denver Broncos. I think the Denver Broncos could come out of nowhere and end up with Wentz. I don't, and I know that because I know that Kaplan had said it earlier today too on their show, Kaplan and Mosher. So they even concur that keep an eye on the Broncos. So at the end of the day, I think that we will get a first still. Mm-hmm. But I still believe going to 2021 that there is very, very little chance Wentz will be on this roster. I think what I've been hearing and reading and just the feel of everything, I don't think there's a good chance at all. I give it a 5% chance maybe that Wentz is on the team for next season. I think he gets moved. I don't think it's likely. I hate saying that because if you're asking me personally what I would want, I'd want Wentz to be here, obviously, because I'm not sold completely on Hurts, and I think it's foolish that, you know, we're trading away a guy after one really horrible season. Granted, it was a really bad season by him, but has shown he has that talent, top 10 talent. We're trading this guy away. It's ridiculous. But reading the tea leaves of Wentz not saying anything right now and just everything that's going on, I think I don't see a scenario where he is on the roster for 2021. So regardless of when and how and where it goes down, I don't think he's an Eagles green anymore going into next year.
I used to say, you know, you guys know this in our chat, right? For me, it was like, I'm at the point where I just want to see them just burn it all down. Like, you know what I mean? Just let's just watch the debacle. Let's just watch the spectacle that it would be. But I'm almost curious now, would burning it down be moving him and just completely stripping everything away from this team piece by piece and starting to trade away everybody and totally strip it down? Or would it burn the organization down at this point just to keep them, just to see how crazy this city would get at training camp if he shows up and he's there at camp? I kind of want to see it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of want to see him here at training camp, not just because I think he should be there, but because I would be excited to see the idiots come out. Absolutely excited. We'll go down
Jordan's question. I don't know if you guys really quick want to get into Jordan's question about what, you know, if there's a player on Denver that we would like. Personally, I looked at Denver's roster. If you're just gonna throw in someone, not like a centerpiece of the deal, but if there's a player that you're just gonna throw in, give me one of their running backs. Give me either Lindsey or Freeman as a throw-in. But if there's a player as a centerpiece, like we really want this guy, unrestricted free agent Justin Simmons. I don't know. I haven't looked into if they're planning on re-signing him and giving him an extension. I don't know any of that. I just know that his contract is up. He was on the franchise tag. He's playing on the franchise tag. So if he's not part of the future plans, do a sign and trade. Have him sign and have them trade him. We need a free safety so badly. So I would take a pick, and Simmons for Wentz. That's what I would do. That's what I'm looking
me
at.
personally, I would offer them Wentz and my second this year and the third next year for 9. You have to do that. You get 6 and you get 9 and you make it fucking work. But all right, no. So Jake or Jeff, double J. That's JE double F.
You got to speak at the same time. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I'll go. And kind of just building off of Chuck's point, too. I really don't see him coming back. I think the bridges are burnt. I don't think it's as bad as, like, the relationship between him and the organization as, like, bad as the media is making it out to be. Mm-hmm. But I just think let's backtrack. Like, 2017, MVP of the league, there was no debate. He has to come back from the injury. He struggles a little bit. Foles goes back in. Takes us to the playoffs. Unfortunately, with the butterfingers of Alshon, we didn't make it to the NFC Championship. Whether we would have or would not have, we'll never know. But when you have Carson, like at least when you put yourself in his shoes, he had to win the team back. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Like 3 times, he had to win back his roster 3 times. So that's stressful. And then I think the icing on the cake too. And I think I read somewhere his agent was also pissed when Howie made the draft pick for Jalen Hurts. So I don't see in any circumstance to where it would be healthy for Carson or this organization to have him back.
Right.
But it's going to be tough because I think Howie, in a way, I think he got caught with his pants down. He got really excited because he saw what the Rams got for Stafford or what the Lions got for Stafford. Excuse me. But yeah, when we first saw the reports that, they're going to trade Carson, we saw a lot of excitement, a lot of teams being like, we're offering this, and that. But at this point, and like you guys even said too, who do we believe? Yes. Who do we believe? And Ron Jaworski said it. Ron Jaworski's a good friend of A2D. He said the Colts were offering just like a second and a third, right?
2 seconds and a third.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Yeah,
2
seconds and either a third or fourth, not this year, but down the road.
Yeah. So, and there was the Chicago reporter that said the Bears were offering a first. So I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I think it'll happen when we least expect it. But at the end of the day, I think what's going to end up happening is Howie's going to have to throw something else in, whether it be a draft pick or a player. But I do agree with the poll. I do think we are going to end up getting a first round pick for Carson.
Yeah.
Jeffrey?
Hell no. I totally disagree with this poll, with the question. I would say the longer this is taking, I would say if the Eagles were offered a first-round pick already, this deal will already be done. But I would say Howie's doing the Eagles no favors right now by allowing this to drag on week after week without this deal getting done because he doesn't want to look like a stooge in front of his fan base, knowing that the relationship with Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles is officially over. Carson Wentz does not want to play here. We have dicked him over way too many times throughout the past couple years. Why the hell would he want to play for this organization? And I would say Howie, obviously, he wants a first-round pick. He wants the best value for your quarterback. Obviously, it's not there. The value's not there. You're having a quarterback coming off his worst statistical season ever and the worst quarterback in the league last year. And I'll say these teams know it. The Eagles have – I know we're saying the Eagles have a little bit of leverage. I don't feel they have any leverage at all. The league knows and the teams know that are looking at him that he wants out. The Eagles are trying to move him. There's no going back from this. And I'll say we keep on bringing up the money and all that type situation, but I would say, like Chuck said, they can move it back, but whoever's roster he's on is the one that has to pay him that roster bonus. So that's another negotiation that teams are having with the Eagles. Either he has to waive that roster bonus or we're going to take less compensation because we have to pay him that $10 million if he's on our roster, or they do if they don't extend it. So, I don't know. I just feel the relationship with Carson Wentz, I thought he would come back, but the fact that they're openly listing the trade offers, why do you want to come back to a team that doesn't want you?
But who's openly listing the trade offers? The Eagles aren't openly listing trade offers.
Listening.
Oh, I thought you said listing. My bad.
No, listening. Sorry.
No, listening.
Listen, I mean, the reality is in professional sports, you should always listen to trade offers. When Matt Stafford goes for a king's ransom, you should always be open to listening to trade offers. Unless you have
This is a little different. This is a little different.
But-
We know
but
the point is the controversy surrounding Carson Wentz in this franchise over the past couple years.
But the point is, though, you have to be like, first of all, to say they have no leverage is totally off base, because for the points that Chuck's mentioned, and aside from that, he can sit out in training camp all he wants, and guess what? He doesn't get paid at that time. He will start saving some money, and he starts forking some back out of his pocket.
He's not sitting out. But
that's the point I'm making. You think Carson Wentz isn't going to sit? If Carson Wentz is here, first of all, whether you think he's going to sit out or not, so but I'm saying if he's here, what do you think? He's going to half-ass it out there and sabotage the organization? They stink anyway. It's not going to make a difference. Good. You'll help us out. Get us a higher draft pick when we finally do move you. But to say that they have no leverage, the NFL is different because they do have leverage because of that dead cap shit, because they accept those signing bonuses. They have leverage.
Well, no, I'm not talking about with Carson. I'm talking about they have no leverage when it comes to trade offers because
they don't have to move them, though. So they do, because if a team wants them bad enough, you have to give up something.
They don't have to.
Exactly my point.
They don't have to move him, but if they don't, it's going to be a constant distraction all offseason throughout many games.
But Jeff, at the same point, remember what I said about the Bears? It goes to any team that needs a QB. They need a QB. They need a QB, and Wentz is one of the ones that might have the best value in a trade because you can get him for a decent price. But if you are able to fix him, like you believe you can, then you get a top 10 QB. You get a franchise QB. Those don't grow on trees. So if you are a team like the Bears, you have to find a QB sooner or later. You have to. And that's where I talked about they're going to bite eventually. They're going to flinch before Howie does. That's just the truth. The Bears are going to, I'm just talking about the Bears. Like I said, the Colts might not. The Colts might not, but Broncos, they could flinch. They could be like, we really need a QB. We need a QB. So it's not just I'm not saying like Howie has all the leverage, and I don't think Chrome is saying that either. I just think that Howie has more leverage than some people are making it out to be. It's not
he has the commodity at the end of the day. And to real quick, it's like what I understand what he's shown on tape last year, right? But let's not forget when he is all in and he buys all into a system, you get 2017. And that's what these guys behind the scenes, they know that this dude didn't just fall off a fucking cliff last year. They know that situation Louis Riddick and Daniel Jeremiah don't even want to fucking work with the Eagles because of Howie Roseman. You think there's not something behind the scenes in the league circles that they know? But real quick, before you go, Chrome, I want to say this. For fans out there who maybe like me, I'm not saying I'm scared to lose Wentz. I feel bad for the kid because I think he is talented, but it's not the end of the fucking world. Go back and look at 2015. The first and second pick in that draft was Jameis Winston's Marcus Mariota. Now, the only difference is that we paid Wentz. But look at the organizations that drafted Mariota and Winston. Tampa Bay just fucking won a Super Bowl, and Tennessee's on the rise. And they found their core. It can be done as an Eagles fan. This situation, however, is just it's unlike any situation I've ever seen. This is so much different from the Watson situation. It's just fucking ridiculous.
You mean Tennessee found their quarterback from an organization that said that he can't be a winning quarterback? Is that what you're saying? That they found their quarterback from an organization that moved on and said that because they felt like he couldn't be a winning quarterback? I'm saying that's a detriment to the Dolphins just as much as it could be for the Eagles. And the whole point of, oh my God, this is a distraction. Tell me a season the Philadelphia Eagles haven't had a major distraction going into it.
But Carson's soft. It's been proven.
But the point, listen, the bottom line is Chip Kelly. For years it was Andy Reid can't get past the NFC Championship games. It was Donovan McNabb and T.O. It was Michael Vick being brought in. Michael Vick getting on the field. It was Nick Foles taking over at a starting quarterback position from injuries and this and that. It was Chip Kelly. It was the dream team. It was freaking Nick Foles again is back and wins the Super Bowl after Carson Wentz does all the fucking legwork for him, and Nick Foles gets all the credit in the statue outside. Then it was
The whole debacle of last year was now we draft Jalen Hurts. Next year, if Carson's moved, you know what it's going to be? Well, you moved your franchise quarterback. Jalen Hurts has to show what he has. And when he stinks, then it's going to be the Eagles move their franchise quarterback for this and put this kid in. Move on from a bona fide franchise quarterback. There's a distraction every single year with this team. I don't care about major distractions. If it's not Carson next year, it's going to be something else.
Well, there's not even a guarantee, even if they move on from Carson, that Jalen Hurts is your starter, because I would say they move on from Wentz, Sudfeld's a free agent. They could bring another veteran here to have quarterback competition with him.
Then they move him to Chicago, and then they bring Nick Foles in, and now it's, oh, man, you're doing the same thing to Hurts that you just did to Carson Wentz. There are so many. This city creates its own distractions, dude. There's no chance in hell that there will be no distraction, no major distractions going into next year. It'll be something with Fletcher Cox. He'll be banging somebody else's girlfriend or wife somewhere. Yeah. There will be a distraction somewhere with this organization. It'll be Howie Roseman. It'll be Jeffrey Lurie. It's inevitable. It is a city that loves chaos and creates its own issues. And then the national media picks up on the fact that we're a bunch of assholes in this city who can't just be happy and enjoy what we have, and they run with it. And then they stir the pot nationally, and then it starts to then back your organization into a corner because now everyone around the league's got eyes on them, and it magnifies situations even that much more. It is inevitable. So I will never, ever hear about what the distraction Carson Wentz or anybody's going to be, because I can't remember a year that the Philadelphia Eagles didn't have a major distraction in and during a year. Sorry.
Well, that's the curse of this city, like this fan base. Yep. Like, I get it. I love this city. I love how passionate our fans are, and we are a football city. And I ride with this city. I always will. Mm-hmm. But I will also be one of the first people to say this fan base, this city is full of dumb people, and this media is so cutthroat that they kill their own. We kill our own stars, and I'm not trying to say that the fans and the media have enough power to ruin a player. I'm saying that it's a tough city, and if you are not mentally strong as a player, you're not. It's difficult for you to feel comfortable in this city because it's full of morons. I mean, look at the sports radio in the city. Look at, if you listen to them for an hour and look at all the calls that the city gets on sports radio. Listen to the radio hosts on all those shows. They drive unnecessary conversation and drama, and so I think, and we keep talking about this. I'm gonna drive the point home once again. I think there is truth to all the stuff going on when it comes to Wentz and him being uncoachable and then him having issues with some players. I think there is truth to that. I think there's too much smoke where there can't be fire. I think there are some problems. At the same time, I think media and fans are blowing it way out of proportion. I think it's being way overblown, and I don't think that people just sit back and realize, hey, some of the stuff that's going on out there, it's just being talked about way too much and made a bigger deal than what it really is. Mm-hmm. And it's unfair to not only to Wentz, not only to him, but to any of the past athletes that we've driven out of the city. It really is. Like we've seen, why does the city have a reputation of getting rid of stars? Because look at us. Look at it. And we're part of the problem. We are part of the problem. We're not the driving force, but we're absolutely part of it. Us, media, and the teams, the organizations themselves that cause the drama, all of us together are part of the problem. And so I'm not going to just chalk it up to Wentz. I think he has ownership, he has fault, but it's way more than just Wentz.
Listen, real quick, he never admits to those faults. You listen to his press conferences, and that's the one thing about the arrogance of Carson Wentz is how he said we had to do better. I would say he never admits with his faults.
Yeah, I heard him say that. I've heard him say
he says we. He says we.
He doesn't just say we. He talks about himself.
I gotta
Well,
cut you guys for 2 seconds here. I gotta play host and cut you guys for 2 seconds. We got
Hey,
90
Bill's
plus
Chrome.
people watching on YouTube right now. We appreciate you guys watching on Facebook. If you're not subscribed to us, guys, follow us, like us, subscribe us, hit the like button on the video. We appreciate you guys. The chat's on fire. Keep them coming. We're gonna react to your guys' comments as we react to the shenanigans that's going on here. I had to get that in, man, because we got a hell of a following right now, a fan watching, and we want to make sure that we're recognizing them and showing love before we start fighting with each other again, because we're going to start doing that in like 2 seconds. But no, listen, I mean, to the point that you guys made there, again, I'll say it again. You have Donovan McNabb, who came into this city and did nothing wrong, got booed out of the building before he even held up a jersey on a podium. And he didn't handle it the right way. He never let it go. And I can't say that I totally blame him, but the city never even gave the guy a chance. Even though he did everything he could on the field to do what he could. He got you to 4 NFC championship games, a Super Bowl. It was never enough. On the flip side now, you have a guy who came in, has said the right things, done the right things, is very present in the community and with his charity and doing all this and that. And we're not happy with that. We praise the guy who gave us 10 quarters. We put a fucking statue outside for a guy who gave us 10 good quarters of his career. Okay? That's how ass backwards this fucking city is. That's how ass backwards the city. And I'm not, I know the city didn't construct the statue, but how many of you assholes out there went out there? And I'm sorry, I mean, you're not really assholes, but how many people went out there and are taking pictures and selfies? And this is the greatest thing, that we put a statue up of guys that are hanging over your current franchise's quarterback's freaking shoulder a year after we won the goddamn Super Bowl. What kind of ego does this city have to do something like that?
And no one's saying that the statue is wrong. It's just you just don't put it up that fucking quick. You know what I mean? Like, you just give it some time.
Well, you had to get that Budweiser money, that dilly shit, whatever shit.
A lot of the people in the comments have said it, but I'm going to hammer the point home too. They've agreed with me. Looking back at the press conferences, Wentz has said, "I have to be better," multiple times, and he's even said it so many times this past year that we as a fan base even got annoyed when he was saying it. And I remember because I tweeted it several times. We're like,
it's the new time's yours.
Here comes the Wentz quote of, "I have to be better. I have to be better." So he has taken accountability. But I don't know
yours,
where his whole Wentz doesn't take accountability. He does. He absolutely does.
So real quick, to limit COD most recent post, Brodo behind the wheels, he says Aaron Rodgers was the MVP. Listen, it's a lot fucking different situation. Matt LaFleur is on fire. Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, Devontae Adams, Montel Valdez Scantling, Robert Tryon, offensive line that played fucking together. That's one of the top 5 in the league. It's a lot of fucking difference. A lot of difference. And I'm not sure what side of the fence of the Wentz argument you're on. I really personally don't give a fuck. To be honest with you, care about my opinion, and that's really it. If you vibe with me, you do. If you don't, then you can get a link. You hop the fuck over. We can hash it out. Agree to disagree. But also, bro, it's just being honest, because we could beat this shit like it's a dead horse, bro.
Well, we are.
Yeah, like you had this fence. You either on it or you're not. And it's just really, I take a look at it from a bird's eye view. Like, it's everybody's culpable. Everybody's that has some part to play for this. Everybody is some part to play in the blame, whether it's come from Wentz not feeling Mike grow and the actual offense somewhat working, and Doug saying, "Hey, I want to be there." All this shit goes into account, because listen, obviously Carson lost faith in Doug and the organization, but then Doug lost faith in the organization themselves. He only answers to 2 other people, maybe 3. He may have answered Don Smolinski, Howie Roseman, and Jeff Lurie. He literally told him, "I want Mike Groh to stay." They said, "No, but you got to fire Mike Groh at the day after public." So when you look at that, is a trickle down effect in the organization, which has me feeling like, okay, I got this hat on, I'm gonna ride with my team. But do I have faith that they're going to make the right decision, even if they do trade Wentz? Is that the right decision? No, I don't know what direction this team is headed in. And you mean to tell me we went from Donovan, which was stability, for the longest stability at the quarterback position that we had ever in this organization, I believe. I'm too young to remember Norm Van Brocklin and all that shit back in the day.
You
but
ain't
then-
that much. You're not too young.
Shut up. But then now, ever since Donovan's left, I mean, you went from you thought Kevin Cobb was the answer. You flipped Kevin Cobb for DRC and some change in a second, I think it was. Then you had Vic. Then you could have had Russell Wilson if it was up to Andy. Then you had Foles, and then you had it was Vic, Foles, and then you had Sammy Sleeves, and then you had Carson. And now, when you don't have an answer at QB that you truly trust, that's a scary thought for a football team, for an organization. That's why we're sitting here telling people, like, listen, there's a legit market out there for Carson, and I think the teams that do need a quarterback right now are not putting their best offer for it because of the fact of they still have a lot of different options to move from, to pick from. Mm-hmm. Let one of these other quarterbacks go. Like, all right, listen, Carolina, you want to bring back Teddy Bridgewater, or do you want to take a chance on a rookie QB? Indianapolis, okay. You don't want to give us a first round pick? Go have a quarterback competition with whoever you fucking pick at 21 and Jacoby Brissett and tell me how that fucking works out for you. You know what I mean? Chicago, okay. Chicago, you don't want to give us the one? All right. Re-sign Mitchell Trubisky then for 3 years or whatever fucking $1 million or put him on a franchise tag. That's a risk worth taking. You know what I mean? So, like, to speak to your point, Chuck, like the Eagles still had the commodity that is in the market. They just have to wait for the market. Or they tell Carson, like, listen, we can't move you of anything that's substantial. This is it. Like, we'll give you everything that you need. This is why I say somebody said, well, they laugh when I say sell yourself. It's really have his team help himself. If they really want to, they need to help facilitate a deal that's going to work for both sides. That's it. If he truly, truly, truly wants to get out of here. And like we said, we have, I want to call them sources, but we have people close to the organization that have said that Wentz's problem isn't with Lurie. It's his problems with Howie, but we have it on good authority to say, as this isn't Howie where all this shit is coming from, it's coming from the top. And like Chrome said it, he said it so well. Listen, I'm a WWE fan. I know Jeff is too. Chuck, you may check in a little bit. I know Jake, he follows it loosely as well.
I don't like that shit.
The fucking product for WWE right now is so fucking roller coaster. It's not been consistent. It's not stable. But guess who's making decisions? It's Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And until something happens, not in a good way, and I'm not wishing anything ill about Vince, but until that happens, it's going to be the same because nobody can check him because they're still fucking making money. Jeffrey Lurie, even in this year, with no fans, still made fucking money. You know what I mean? So until that happens, I've said it again. I know I'm ranting here, but they backed into the fucking Super Bowl in 2017, and it was the fucking worst thing that could have happened for this team. Mm-hmm. And it shows you by the way they acted after they won it. It shows you by the way they acted after they wanted to put the statue up so quick. It's like you keep hollering at a girl and you haven't been on a date and you pull the baddest girl in school and she says yes and you get to touch that first time and you act like you ain't never had nothing ever in your life. And you just blow your load all right there. You just throw it all away.
Jake's all too familiar with this.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro. Like, really, fans, like fam out there, and you're in the chat. Start going back and look at how they acted after they won the Super Bowl, and you tell me if they acted like an organization that expected to win that shit, or somebody where they woke up one moment and they said, "Fuck, we really won a Super Bowl." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, look, Andre Gardner said he wrote a fucking book. Doug wrote a book. When the fuck did this bitch become an author? You was a coach for 2 years.
Just quickly.
2 years. A journeyman backup for 2 years. Head coach for 2 years. You write your fucking books.
You know what's crazy, Pete? You know, there's a big difference, right? After 2011, when the Cardinals won the World Series, when they beat the Phillies in the first round, Tony La Russa wrote a book, and I think it was called The Last Out, something along those lines. And it's such a stark contrast to somebody who had such a historical career as a manager and winning, you know, the second or third winningest manager in the history of the game, to an organization and a head coach, because obviously, who has the audacity to go out there and present themselves as the standard. And I said it to you guys. I'll say it again. The best and worst thing to happen in Philadelphia Eagles football is to win the Super Bowl because we finally got it. But for all those people who said I'd give my soul to see one Super Bowl, you very well may have. Because you have an owner. You know, we're sitting here and we're riding Howie, left and right, and riding Howie. And I'm telling you, the head of the snake, the evil within is at the very, very top. A guy who has such an ego now, who thinks they are the, quote, standard bearer to building a successful, winning organization now, that he can't get out of his own way. And I said it on other shows, and I'll say it again here. We now have to dance with the devil, who might be worse than the one who dances down on the star in Dallas. He's that bad. He's that overbearing. There were reports last week about former players and people around the league saying that the issue in the organization, it isn't Carson, it wasn't Doug, it's deeper than that. I'm telling you, if it was Howie, everything about Howie is put out there. The fact that they specifically left the name out on that report is very telling that it's not Howie Roseman, because nobody's been afraid to trash Howie. None of these beat writers, public or locally and nationally. It is very telling and very convenient that they left Jeffrey Lurie's name out of that. I'm telling you that's where your issue is. And if you think that getting rid of Howie, I'm not saying they shouldn't, by the way. If you think getting rid of Howie is going to solve things, guys, you might be looking at a 10-year downslide for this organization.
20.
If you trade Carson
30.
Wentz, it's possible right now. And I mean, that's where we're facing right now, because they're so fucking egotistical. They have their chest puffed out so fucking far. I don't know how they're not how they're getting through walls or how they're getting through doorways with their heads this fucking big. It's unbelievable. And it's 4 years later, still coming off of that year. And if it didn't tell you through the pressers with Jeffrey Lurie what kind of a douchebag he is now, well, guess what, boys? Guess what, ladies and gentlemen out there? Absolutely really start to read between the lines and use your noggin, because I'm telling you, there's more to it. And before you guys get to your thing, I'm telling you, we have 87 people watching over on YouTube. Hit the like button, please, for us. Follow all that stuff. All you guys watching over on the book and on Twitter, follow us on the social media right now. Get in there and keep those comments coming, because it is hot, and I'm loving what we're seeing from the fan here and their contributions. Whoever wants to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So real quick, we have something for all the doubters out there.
Oh, for a second, I thought you were going to tell me breaking news, man. No. You can't tee it up like that.
No, our lovely producer has a bit of a surprise he wanted me to put up.
I know, first and foremost, I have to be better. Carson Wentz, when asked the Eagles organization put him in a position to succeed this year, adds that he's not a guy to point fingers. There we go.
Wondering.
But he's not accountable, right?
One time. Congrats.
He still can say it. He can still be soft at the same time.
I've got 6 more screenshots in my camera roll, but I don't want to turn it.
Yeah, sorry, Jeff. You're gonna have to take the L on that. He definitely has taken
He's definitely accountable
in press conferences. So, no, Chrome, you bring up a really good point, and I know you discussed it with some of us before, and it is alarming and it's eye-opening when you talk about, because like you said, Howie definitely is part of the problem too. Like he is definitely he deserves blame. I've said even months ago, during the middle of the season, I said the Eagles aren't this bad if you don't blame multiple people throughout the whole team, and that goes from Lurie to Howie to Doug to the assistants to the players to Wentz. Everyone has blame, everyone. But it's really alarming when you talk about it and you kind of look at, okay, who's going to keep the owner in check?
Nobody.
Remember when we had Jeff on here last year, and not last year, a few weeks ago, the biggest takeaway from our interview with him was when he said the Hurts pick, Laurie was in on that. That his fingerprints were on the Hurts pick from the gun. The reason why they went with Hurts is because they didn't want to make the same mistake as they made missing out on Wilson. And then they also value the backup quarterback position so much that they were willing to take a backup QB in the second round. And then when you look at some of these other draft picks, it's like, what other stuff does Laurie have his fingerprints on since the Super Bowl?
Well, you know what's crazy though, too, Chucks, with that, and I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to bring that up, and I've said this to you guys, okay? The one thing you look at, right, and we trash Jerry Jones, right, because he's too hands-on. Now look at your owner, who has his fingertips, had his hands in the cookie jar all over molesting that Jalen Hurts cookie down there in that jar. All over that. And I'm telling you right now, even if that's the only draft pick that he influenced, what is the one draft pick that has completely blown up this organization? Completely obliterated this organization. It is the Jalen Hurts pick. As soon as that pick went down, I'm talking everything started crumbling away.
Yeah.
All the buildings started falling. All the fucking, the typhoon started washing over and you have a fucking monsoon going. It's insane what has happened since that draft pick. And the fact that he had to have his fingertips on a second round draft pick for a backup quarterback because he can't get over that he twisted his nuts over Russell Wilson years ago is a fucking problem. That's a problem. And it's not going to go away. Look at the way he handled himself in those pressers. He was asked about, hey, what about missing out on guys like DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson? And he totally sidestepped it. He addressed it for guys who went before their pick, totally ignoring the numerous all-pro players that have gone after their draft picks that were inexcusably passed up on. And that tells you right there the way. And I'll tell you what, I hate to say it, but I'm going to be that guy. I look at his face now, and he's so fucking smug. He just has such a punchable face. The way he talks, the way his face, his mannerism, you can tell he's arrogant. I mean, I don't know if you guys have. I had met him in a Phillies game years ago, and I always liked Jeffrey Lurie a lot. He was a really nice guy and a class act, but I have to say, when I look at how he's been since that Super Bowl, and I'm talking, just look at his face and the way he talks and his facial expressions, compared to what he was like 5 years ago. It's like looking at a different guy, and it's just come to light so much more. And I'm telling you guys, we had a problem for a long time.
Yeah, I used to like
he's inflated, and the Super Bowl inflated his ego, man. Like we see a comment right here from Steelers fan. You keep talking about that Laurie is on par with Jerry Jones, and I think he's actually worse. Morally, no. Morally, I think Laurie is just a better person than Jerry Jones. But when it comes to running a football team, and the proof is in put it right here in Steelers fans, when Laurie is doing this shit from behind the shadows, and not, we know Jerry's is fucking up front with it. Jerry has imagine if Jeffrey Lurie had to answer to a radio host, not answer, but did a weekly radio interview like Jerry does when his team is losing. You know what I mean?
I also think to what kind of masks, and I'm not making excuses for Laurie, what kind of masks Jerry Jones's issues is that his son is the GM. And so, and his son actually is pretty good.
Laurie's son is the GM here too.
Yeah. Touche. But regardless, Stephen Jones is actually good at drafting, whereas Howie, we already know. I mean, it was Stephen that had to talk Jerry out of drafting. Johnny Manziel. So at least that GM in Cowboys land has can actually draft really well, whereas Howie can't. So that's what kind of. But yeah, I agree with you, Pete. Morally, I will always see Jerry Jones as a piece of crap. But as when it comes to owning a football team, I really am starting to believe that Laurie is worse than Jerry Jones, and I think that as long as those two are in power, neither the Eagles or Cowboys are going to win anything anytime soon. Maybe for the rest of our lifetime. I know us three at the top here are well into our 30s. I don't know, you guys at the bottom.
I said well into our 30s. God damn.
Pete's almost 40.
How old you're a year behind me, right? I graduated 2001.
I'll be 36 next month.
And then I'm turning 35.
Pete's like 39 and a half over here.
Freaking
38. 38. Hey, as long as I can still get around as long as I stretch properly before and after.
Yo, listen, by the way, side note too, me and Jeff, we had NWA World Heavyweight Champion on Lazy Booking last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so used to having the older guys on that when he mentioned, I forgot, I know how old he was, but when he mentioned he was born in like 1986, I was like, fuck, I'm the oldest guy on here right now. Which, by the way, if you missed it, cheap plug, go back and check out Lazy Booking's interview with the NWA champion Nick Aldis.
Plug next week. Plug next week too. Fuck it. Plug next week.
Well, we got some great interviews coming up. If you're a wrestling nerd, hey guys, next week we got WWE Hall of Famer, living legend Larry Zbyszko, and the one that we really just dropped is 2 weeks from now, 2/23, February 23rd, 7:30 p.m. Candice Michelle, original GoDaddy girl, Playboy cover girl, WWE Women's Champion and 24/7 champion. She's coming on with us. We're really excited to have her as well. So lots of fun stuff. Riley Cote's coming back on the Hockey Happy Hour next month, I think, because we had his February appearance, but keep an eye on that. Anyway, And by the way, if you're watching us anywhere you're at, like the video, share it around, subscribe to us. If you're over there on the tube, you guys are freaking flying with the comments. I know you guys we got 96 people watching right now. Dude, guys, go on there, like the video, follow us. We love you guys. We appreciate it. Love the comments. Keep them coming.
If I could answer this question,
yes,
I would say both because I have one hand for each of them.
No. I mean, I'll be honest, man.
One hand for each of them, bitch.
You know, I'm not down with elder abuse or any of that shit, but I would pick Jeffrey Lurie. I'm telling you, Jeffrey Lurie's the one. Hey, if I have my chance to finally be the guy to keep him, if I'm the only guy that gets one shot to keep him accountable, to fucking knock him down a peg, I'm taking that. Everybody else is beating up on Howie. I don't have to be the one to punch him. I'm sure he's going to walk down the street somewhere in South Philly and he's going to get an elbow or a punch to the face at some point. Jeffrey Lurie's the one that needs it. Jeffrey Lurie's the one that nobody else is going to take it. So I'm taking that shot. I'm going after the king. I'm going after the head of the snake. I'm taking that shit right off. But, yeah, I mean, so anyway, we'll see what happens with Carson, guys. I'm sure next week we'll be talking about the exact same thing because I don't think he's going to be moved for a while now. That's right. Give him a 3-piece and a soda. You got it, Rick. Guys, we have about 40 minutes left. Let's transition to our – and by the way, if you guys want to keep dropping your comments in, the Eagles comments, everything else, and we'll react to them as we see them. We want to try to shift a little bit now. Super Bowl reactions. Just had Super Bowl.
Wait, have you guys been paying attention? I think Howie Roseman's burner account is watching the show.
Yes, Moya Rivera.
I think his burner account is there. Right? He's all over. So, Howie, thank you for tuning in, Howie.
That's my cousin.
Don't mess up the draft. Please don't mess up the draft. And yeah, enjoy the show, Howie.
Transitioning now, guys, to something that we're probably not going to talk about for a long time in this city regarding our team but let's talk Super Bowl, boys.
Hey!
Obviously, we have new Super Bowl champions. We saw history, which I'm personally thrilled that we saw. And I know I'm not a Brady guy by any means, but we saw history, absolute blowout, absolute domination by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Kansas City Chiefs. So I just want to get some of your reactions to what we saw, to the game, and we'll start reverse order now. Let's go to Jeff first.
I'll say my reaction from the Super Bowl and what Howie and Jeffrey should be looking at. is I would say if you don't have no offensive line and no playmakers at linebacker, you're not going to be competing for a freaking championship. I would say you saw the way Patrick Mahomes was running for his freaking life without 3 of his offensive line starters. And I would say, a side note, you have to blame Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, a guy that everyone was pissed off about that didn't get a head coaching job, not game planning better to try to control the Tampa Bay's front four in that pass rush that allowed Patrick Mahomes to get running for his life consistently on every single down. So, but I'll say you look at that Tampa Bay, that front seven and those linebackers, with Devin White and Levante David, 2 high draft picks. Devin White went in the first round, I think, at 5th overall one year. Levante David in the second round. This, I would say, that should be an eye opener for Howie and for Jeffrey Lurie. To say, hey, we need to start value linebackers in this position. We can't put the Nate Garys and the Alex Singletons of the world in our defense and expect our defense to perform at a high level. When you have playmakers like those 2 guys out there, it helps you win championships.
Yep.
I think the thing is about. I mean, yeah, we need better linebackers than Nate Gary, but every linebacker in the league is better than Nate Gary. I think it's more about just getting playmakers on your defense, period. Yeah, not even just at linebacker, not specifically at linebacker, just period. Just get playmakers, get good players wherever. So I'm not going to be one to sit here and say, hey, we need stud. Spend your first 2 draft picks now this year on linebackers. Like, I still think you can get by with at least good linebackers. You don't need stud ones.
I'm not saying use the first two picks.
You need better ones, but it's just a matter of getting impact players like a Jeremy Chin that we could have had last year, and using them very, 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 very well. I had to mention him because Clay mentioned him.
I saw
chat, and I was like, "Oh my god, please don't remind me." But yeah, go ahead, Jake. Thoughts on Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's like I've been saying. I think the week before the Super Bowl, the 2 offensive line injuries I knew were going to be huge, and the defense, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, was going to feast, and they did. And another guy that also played really well, Antoine Winfield, who we could have had, thanks Howie. And
another one.
Yeah, exactly. But it just goes back to the old saying: you never bet against Tom Brady. Just absolute dominance.
Try to tell y'all.
And again, he might not have made like huge plays. He might have made a couple splash plays here and there. But we saw old Gronk on during the Super Bowl. That was old. That was old school Gronk. And the guy that was also suspended for a year in Antonio Brown. It's just like all these little tiny storylines. It's crazy to me. But again, I'm not like the biggest Brady fan, but you have to respect greatness when you're looking at it. And it's going to be something that we talk about when we're in our 50s and 60s, when we're telling our kids and our grandkids, like, yeah, this guy that's playing right now, he's great, but let me tell you something about Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And to be honest, guys, I think he could win 1 or 2 more before he hangs it up.
Yeah.
With that team, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because at this point, like, obviously you're the GOAT and the best ever, and no one's denying that. But why stop now? You know what I mean? Why stop now?
Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, Donovan.
Thank you, Donovan.
Appreciate it,
Donovan. Appreciate your first pick, cornerback, second pick, linebacker, third pick, safety.
Okay.
Donovan, you got to make sure you stay tuned with us too. We're going to be inching closer. Say what? Probably maybe a month or so. We're going to start getting really into the draft.
Yeah.
So, couple weeks.
Make sure you're sticking with us, Donovan. I know you're on all of our shows, brother. We appreciate you. We love you for all your contributions, man. Pete?
Nah, well, you said I went first last time, so you want me to go now?
Well, Chuck's talked earlier, so I thought maybe I was his turn. Can't throw me off that way. Come on. I mean, he's already broke. At this point, he already broke the goddamn cycle, so does it really matter?
True.
Go ahead, Chuck, sir.
No, but I picked the Chiefs last week, and I was dead wrong. I didn't anticipate Reed to mess up their O-line situation as badly as he did, and pretty much not leaving help in for that O-line, and that ultimately was like the downfall was the O-line. So I mean, first of all, like I before I continue with the Chiefs, I just want to give respect and to not only Brady but the whole Bucks team, they came to play. Offense, defense, both sides of the ball, they were clicking, both sides. So they both deserve credit. Brady didn't make a lot of like amazing throws, but he made the necessary ones. And sometimes it's all you need to do, especially when you have a team full of playmakers on offense that you do. So, it's all about making the smart and just the necessary passes. On defense, like Devin White, I don't know if you guys remember, like when he was drafted, the year he was drafted, it was between him and Devin Bush. I like Devin White better than Bush by like a hair. And I was in the minority, but like we're seeing now, he's flourishing. Winfield is a up and coming star. Like that whole defense played so well. Todd Bowles, I wish the Super Bowl MVP trophy could be given to a coach because I would have given it to Todd Bowles. He did a masterful job taking advantage, and he didn't need to adjust because Andy Reid didn't adjust. So he from top to bottom, that Bucks team really showed up and played a great game. My hat's off to them. I was really happy to see guys that I like on that team, like that I'm a fan of, like Chris Godwin, Ronald Jones, like them getting Super Bowl rings was pretty cool to see, and I'm happy for them. The one shot that Pete you did take at me, say don't bet against the Brady the GOAT. If you look at it though, Mahomes was one of the only players on the Chiefs that actually came out and played well. It's not his fault he was running for his life the whole time.
Dude, that throw he threw on a dime, diving,
that was Carson Wentz-esque against Seattle on Sunday Night Football in 2017. Bro. Remember that one?
Yeah. Crazy. There's a snippet, I think it's from NFL.com, where they had Godwin and the rest of the receivers mic'd up and reacting to Mahomes, and they're all in like disbelief at what Mahomes is doing. Like, and you're talking about players that are playing like their quarterback is Tom Brady, the GOAT. And they're watching on the sideline and like, how is Mahomes doing this? And so I'm watching Mahomes like making throws where he's like in the defender's grasp, being twirled around in a circle and then just chucking it up. And a pass that could have been caught. Like, are you kidding me? You're like, this is Mahomes does not get. I know people want to say QBs get the credit when teams win. They should get the blame when they lose. Yeah. I've never fallen in line with that belief. I always stuck to like football is a team sport. The QB gets too much credit and they get too much blame. So I think that Mahomes is not one of the reasons why the Chiefs lost. I put that on the offensive line and I put that on Andy Reid first and foremost for not making adjustments. So but regardless, hats off to the GOAT Tom Brady. And I will say that the videos from the parade were more fun than the actual damn Super Bowl. Like seeing him throw the trophy, and then also seeing him after the parade drunk and had to be like carried and escorted. That was incredible. So
one of the receivers dropped their phone in the freaking river.
Godwin.
Yeah, Godwin.
His phone dropped it in the river. Did
you see? Did you guys see like the pictures and stuff of Gronk at Disney too?
No.
Oh my God! You talk about a big ass. Like you used to make fun of me. You talk about a big ass kid on rides at Disney. It's the best. I don't care what anybody says. I know Ryan Brodo hates him. I fucking love Gronk so much. That dude is just all personality, and he is a monster on the field. I'll take that 1,000 times over.
And he's not a bad guy.
Half the vanilla sons of bitches we have in this city.
Yeah. I don't hate him. I hate him in the wrestling industry.
No. You should be wearing. You should be on camera wearing your Gronkamania shirt right
Greg
now.
never gave it to me. Greg still has it.
Well, God damn, you're never going to get it.
7 champion. That's a Super Bowl champion as well.
That's impressive.
I have no problem with him as a football player.
And he won them both in the same city.
Gronk went from retired to signing a WWE contract to winning the 24/7 title to winning a Super Bowl, all in less than 12 months.
Great.
Fucking absolute king.
Hey,
right there.
you know what? Maybe we should trade Carson for him. There's an idea.
Wow.
Ryan, stop it. That just sounded bitter. That sounded so bitter right there.
Of course it was better. Of course it was.
Oh man.
I love it. Ryan doing a great job back there. We appreciate you, Ryan. He's dropping all your comments up and down. He's putting the graphics up. And for all you guys watching, guys, get on there, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, A2D, follow us. We appreciate you. Keep your comments coming. Steelers fan one. Gronk nearly dropped the Lombardi Trophy during the Super Bowl party. I couldn't imagine what would have happened if he dropped it and it was in the water.
Someone's going in after that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess their WWE title belt then would have been basically their trophy for the rest of the parade then.
Yep.
Brady throwing Lombardi pitches from the boat when he was hammered. That Lombardi could very well have ended up at the bottom. And I will say this, guys. I'm going to ask you this. There's been a debate of, is this A, Tom Brady's most impressive Super Bowl? B, is this the best team that he's had? So my question is, I want to have a different question. Going from the start of the year to how it's kind of ended up and seeing him win this Super Bowl, seeing his reactions to things, do you think this is like his most fun Super Bowl that he's won?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because it's one of the ones where if you look at the team as a whole, they were barely above 500 when it came to their bye week. And they kind of reinvented themselves. You know what I mean? I even see here in the comments, Fabio Bonfim says, what you said about Brady playing simple is what Carson needs to do. Listen, Bruce Arians, Byron Leftwich, they told Brady, like, listen, that shotgun shit that you did in New England for this team ain't going to fucking work. And you saw that what they did. They started to get under center. They started to pound the football with Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones and really changed their identity after the bye week. And the defense just took care of business. They completely changed everything. And the biggest reason outside of the O-line why I think Kansas City kind of didn't win is that turf toe for Mahomes was serious. It was more than a concussion. You can see him hobbling. He just couldn't get out of pressure the way he could before. And I was just shocked that Andy didn't make adjustments, man. And Eric Bieniemy, he's really the run game coordinator. It's more Kafka with the pass game and Reed. I mean, no screens, no anything. Like they could nothing to get the pressure off of Mahomes' ass. I was very, very. I just knew in that second half they were going to come out with some type of adjustments, and they just did.
They ran a draw play with Clyde, and that was it. That was their adjustment. They ran a draw play on the first possession, and he went for a big gain. They ran another draw play the next possession, and that was the extent of their adjustment. And it's sad. I'm not going to say that I can't. And remember, I was rooting for the Chiefs, but I'm not going to use the turf toe as an excuse. I'm not saying you were, Pete, but I'm not going to look at the turf toe and say, "Oh, Mahomes, like he was bothered by it and he didn't play it." Like he was moving around there fine. I just complimented him and said that he was making incredible throws and everything, running for his life and throwing while he's parallel to the ground. I'm not going to sit here and look at the turf toe and be like, that was the reason why he didn't play as well. Like
enough.
You guys are totally bypassing my question. I was
going to get to
Mike Parker, but what Mike Parker said out here, like most fun because he didn't have to go back to shitty, snowy Boston after. I want to know was it the most fun? Because I have to say, for me, like seeing how Brady was after this, right? And I really feel like this was the most personable and relatable I think he's ever come off since his rookie and second year of his career. And maybe too, they were playing with house money. Tom Brady is always expected to win the Super Bowl after that first rookie year or that first year that he got his first ring. And you could just feel like there was a different energy about him, maybe because they were able to just, they're home, they were able to go there and just, you know what, if we win, we create history. If we don't, we weren't even supposed to be here anyway, and we lost to, the next great quarterback of the league. Nothing to hang your head about. His energy, his everything. I know it sounds weird and cheesy to say that, but there's just an a different aura about the man that made him likable to me. A guy who his entire career I found to be one of the most polarizing and hateable professional athletes in the last 20 years. I felt like it was a whole different guy after that Super Bowl. And really for a lot of this year, minus, the not shaking hands shit earlier in the year.
Right.
Let's get back to the fun stuff, Chucks.
What? Oh yeah. Oh,
Christ.
No. But I was ready when you said that. I was finishing up my point. I was going to answer your question. I actually loved what I saw from Brady, after the Super Bowl, and I liked watching him with this Bucs team more than I ever liked watching him in New England. And I'm not talking about from just like a rooting standpoint, but just from watching football standpoint. Like, we saw, I know they struggled at times, especially after they signed AB and they were trying to figure out the chemistry there. But, seeing him with the guys that they had, stacked offensive weapons and a good O-line, with Tristan Wirfs is a freaking beast, by the way. So he's, watching him play and play loose, like you said, and do play as well as they did as a team, especially in the playoffs, was fun to watch. So I agree. I think this definitely was the most fun Brady, Super Bowl win that Brady has had, and it's a relief kind of to see him departed from that, from that New England kind of culture. We know what the New England culture is, a machine. They're robots there, and I mean that in a complimentary way. But now when he's away from that, you get to see more of his personality, and I kind of do appreciate that.
Yeah, I think Bruce Arians is a different type, obviously a different cat than what Belichick is too.
I was just going to say that too. Yep.
I think that team and that personality of a lot of the guys on that team do mold to what the head coach is like there. I think there's a lot to that. I know you don't have to be, you just, the end of the day is to win championships, and you don't need to be the most popular guy in the room. But I think a lot of times there was a very polarizing energy that those guys gave off that very much turned people off of the New England Patriots. And I feel like seeing Brady in a different uniform, in a different setting and environment that we saw this year, it was just a different feel, particularly after. What'd you think, Jake?
Yeah, and that was my big point, to where like you have just such an endearing personality and such just like I don't want to say dictator, because I don't want to make Belichick out to be a dictator, but he's just very drill sergeant-esque. He goes by the book and
leave the tater off. That's fine.
Yeah, but and this is why Bruce Arians is one of my favorite coaches, is because like obviously he'll be strict when he needs to be, but he also lets you be yourself, and that's what he endorses out of all his guys. He lets them be themselves, wants to have lets them have fun. Because I saw a quote from him the other day. He's like, he asked Gronk if he wanted to have off for like a practice or something like that, and Gronk was like shocked. He's like, "Wait, I can have off on a practice?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't care. You're Gronk. I don't care. You can do what you want."
I feel like Bruce Arians is like the type of dude that like you have like a barbecue, and like he's the older guy that'll like play flip cup and do a beer bong with you, and just like. But he'll be the grill man over there too, and just I don't know. He just seems like that type of dude who just keeps it so relaxed, right? Like I think he's a dude that holds them accountable for things, but he just seems like a guy who, again, if you put in what he expects from you, you are gonna have no issues, and he's a very, very likable guy. Jeff.
Yeah, I have to agree. I would say this is probably the most fun, probably Super Bowl for Brady, not just for winning it, but he had to stick it to Belichick after that whole divorce, and everyone's wondering can Brady win without the genius? He proved right there who the real genius was. He wins the Super Bowl. Belichick misses the playoffs and is now going to be searching for a new quarterback because that Cam Newton experiment is obviously over. So I would say he is laughing it up to his former leader's face right now that I'm the one on top and you're the one at the bottom of the cellar at the moment.
I think, in reply to that, I think that this whole, again, and I'm being complimentary of Brady. Like he is the GOAT, and he did what he had to do this season, and he accomplished great things. And it's not his fault. He has a great team and coach around him. Every QB that wins the Super Bowl needs a good team around
I'm
him.
not saying it was all him, but my thing is everyone said that Brady was a system quarterback. Can he move on without Belichick and still succeed?
Oh.
I was saying for a guy at his age, at 42 something years old or however old he is,
43.
yeah, to go out there and play at a decently high level for the most part and go out there and win a Super Bowl. And it was fun for him. He was able to get Gronk out of retirement. He got Antonio Brown. He had players around him, but you still ultimately have to perform. And we know how important the quarterback is in the NFL for you to win a championship. So I would say,
especially, and this doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, to your point, even like not just on the field, off the field. How many times we talk about the players on that team when it came to his leadership and stuff that he would talk about to that team, and just that confidence he instilled in that team, it goes leaps and bounds. So, but to my point, I hope people don't look at Belichick now and be like, oh yeah, he's a fraud. Like, it was all Brady, and it was Belichick is not one of the
greatest coaches of all time.
He's still I still believe that they both are the greatest. They're both GOATs, and I think Belichick. Keep in mind that Patriots team also lost how many people who opted out of this season,
especially on the defensive side, which is his expertise.
Exactly, the defensive side, and so I think that we all kind of knew going into the season. I mean, we placed a bet with one of our old friends that the Patriots weren't going to be that good this year. We saw it because we looked at the roster and said, hey, there's no one on the field. There's no one the Patriots have. They don't have talent. And so, and I'm not a Cam Newton believer or anything, but I mean, who was he throwing to? Demir Bird? So I don't think the hate toward, you can love Brady all you want, but the hate that I've seen from some people to discrediting Belichick, I don't think it's fair. I think Belichick has shown that he is still a great coach that deserves as much credit for that Patriots success as Brady. I think both of them are the biggest reasons for success, and I think that in a few years we're going to see the Patriots kind of rebound and get back to being good again, especially when they get their players that opted out back into that defensive side of the ball.
And when they trade for Carson Wentz.
Never going to happen. But here's the thing, guys. You know who I think they could trade for? Jimmy GQ. Wouldn't shock me.
Wow.
Would not shock me if there's a reunion there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think this year is going to be important. I think they have to make a good decision for the quarterback position this year, the Patriots. I think it'll be very telling, Chucks, because I'm on the other side of you can have a great system, but you still have to have the guy to lead it on the field.
Absolutely.
Not everybody can do that. And I think Tom Brady, to Jeff's point, proved that he's not a one-system quarterback. I think that he proved that he can go in and lead another team and lead guys who were considered unleadable. When you look at guys like Antonio Brown, who was supposed to be a headache, Leonard Fournette, supposed to be a headache. He was like, it's like the old days of the Chicago Bulls. Everybody said, Dennis Rodman, headache. You can't control this guy, this and that. It took a guy like a Michael Jordan, though, to command that respect to, you know what? It's not always going to be perfect. But when I got to grab you by the collar and I got to make sure I keep you focused, that's the guy who, when he gets his collar grabbed and he turns around and it's him, it's like, oh, shit. All right. Yep, you're right. Not everybody can command that respect. And I think that there's a very, very – and then you can even go back to when Randy Moss went to the New England Patriots. Tom Brady has commanded that kind of respect and proved that he can be a leader anywhere. Or, at least there in Tampa, somewhere else. We don't know. I don't know how good that system's going to be with another quarterback. because you
But it's
don't
not his
find
system.
Tom.
No, that's I before you continue.
I
It's
know
not his
Bill
system
Belichick
on right.
Are you talking about how he pulls different elements from different things? and
No, I'm
implements
talking
a
about
system?
he doesn't really fuck with the offensive all. He's
Right.
a great leader. He gives you one focus and he keeps you on that path. And Brady said, "All right, I'm tired of this shit. I've never got to drink alcohol, like some guys said, and I want to fucking win." And lo and behold, I want to put this in perspective here. Brady had the loudest voice in the room, and he's led by example. So when he walks through the door, you fucking listen. Let's not fucking forget though. Last year in this same offense, Brady turned it over 12 times in the QB the year before that turned it over fucking 40. But they put up crazy fucking numbers. So the team Tampa Bay was fucking loaded. I'm not going to take anything away from Brady and the Bucs championship this year, but let's put it all in perspective. Yeah. And the Chiefs were hurt. And the Chiefs were hurt in the offensive line, and they just got outcoached. But how would we feel right now?
Dude, they got rolled, though. They were dropping passes.
Perfect Andy shit. Perfect Andy. Yeah. It was perfect Andy shit. It was that perfect.
What they put in? What they do? Right. Would they switch hands with Andy before they step back on the field?
No. But how many times did what I saw?
Drop how many footballs right in their hands? How many footballs?
A lot. What I'm saying is it was almost harking back to like 2002 Carolina versus the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, where it almost like Andy didn't fucking have a clue of what to do once Plan A didn't fucking work.
03, by the way.
03, I'm sorry. When Plan A did not work on Sunday, he had no fucking Plan B whatsoever.
It was weird.
It was so
agree.
uncharacteristic.
But you still have to look at the. It's not even just the fact that Tom Brady did it, but the road that he had to go through. He beat 3 league MVPs in Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, your reigning league MVP, and Patrick Mahomes, who might be the fucking MVP for the next 7 straight years.
Yeah.
So you have to take that. It's never been done before. Never been done at his age. Never been both conferences. Never had to go through 3 MVPs in the league.
Listen, I just want to say the biggest reason why they won the fucking chip because of fucking defense. That's the biggest reason why they won the fucking chip. The defense. I'm not taking that. I'm not taking.
At the Tom's point, it's not like we're. You always feel like you're walking on eggshells whenever you have to compliment the defense, but it's not that we're not taking away from Brady on that offense. Right. We're just. I've always said it takes a whole team. I've been a Brady fan. I'll tell you that. You need a good team to win a Super Bowl. I don't care if you're look at Aaron Rodgers. He's been in the past. He's been like the most talented QB in the league, but he doesn't have anything, so he can't do anything. To win a Super Bowl, a QB can't do it on his own. So
who said that they had to do it on their own? We can roll the tape back from last week. I know that's a popular thing. Look at the tape from last press shows where I said that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to win because overall, all the way around the football, defense, special teams, and offense, they were the best. I'm not saying you were hands down in the league this year.
I'm saying, Journal, I'm just corroborating what Pete was saying is that people you say. Oh, the Bucs. The biggest reason they won is because that defense came. They showed
Pete's
up.
Pete's over here crowning them like it was. Pete's over here crowning the defense like it's just like the Peyton Manning Broncos Super Bowl where he fucking barely put any points on the board.
No, but listen, what I was saying.
Him with his little ball on top of his head over there, leaning back, sitting there disrespecting the GOAT.
The NFC Championship game, they should have lost that game in Lambeau. They should have lost that game. This fucker threw 3 picks in Lambeau, and Matt LaFleur had a fucking brain fart.
But they also steamrolled the entire first half. So it's one thing if they only put up a couple points and this and that, and it was it wasn't that close of a game.
That just goes to show that you need both. That's all I'm saying. I think that's all people say. You need both. You need
2 A2D studios ago when the
thank you guys for educating
on the top. I was saying that was the GOAT before every fucking show.
Thank you guys for educating the guy last week who said it's all sides of the football is what's going to win them the game. Thank you for telling me that you need all sides of the football to win the game. Appreciate you guys.
And I am so happy I came on here to get this last week. Did you pick the Bucs or the Chiefs last week?
I picked the Bucks.
He picked the Bucks.
Okay, then I picked the Bucks.
That's right. That's right. Take the hat
You
off.
pointed
Cool
to
your
the,
head
you pointed
down.
to the wrong side.
Cool it down.
You went over there. I'm on this
I'll
side.
tell you what.
Oh my God.
Now I feel, you know what? Thank God. I feel the pain of these kids doing schooling from home, Zoom. I'm over here getting an education from you guys, like I'm getting fucking homeschooled. When you're telling me nothing new.
Just to the population in general, because that's what I said. I feel like you're walking on eggshells whenever you let out to anywhere on social media or to anyone in general that give credit to the defense. It's not just you we're talking about. I'm not even talking to you. I'm just saying in general, like
that's why I said Pete. I didn't say you were. I said Pete was.
People love Brady.
Stupid knitted hat over.
But then if you compliment someone else on Brady's team, you get guys that are just like, so you're discrediting baby Brady.
Chucks,
No, not.
You said it yourself though, right? You said it earlier yourself, right? When we talk about Carson Wentz. The quarterback gets way too much credit and not enough credit at the same time, right? Or all the blame. He gets all the blame and all the credit. It's just the way it is. You know,
I never bought into that. I don't like that, and
we should.
said it for years.
But it's never not going to be the case. It's been that way since the start.
And I'll never not argue against it. That's why I'm saying right now. I will
pick my battles.
We'll
be arguing about that week in and week out more than the Carson Wentz shit that we've had to do. Yeah. If we continue to stand on our soapbox over that, you know what I mean?
Me and you are going to be at the 50th Highland Tartans high school reunion talking about that kind of stuff.
They just had the 50th. I wore the shirt last week.
The 50th high school reunion?
The school's 50th anniversary, yeah, by the way. Hey, shout out to
it was like 50 years. It's 20.
Oh, you're saying for our 50 year? I ain't
our
gonna make it that long.
high school reunion.
I'm thinking you're talking about the school's 50 year. They did a big event for that too. I was like, damn, it was like 2 years ago. Listen, I ain't making it that long. And guess what? Between now, this year will be our don't help me. Let me do math. This will be 17 years since we were in high school, right?
That's why I graduated class of 2000.
We're gonna get
2000 plus whatever.
That's so
we're
easy.
We're gonna get to 15, or we're gonna get to 50, Chucks, and the Eagles mark it down. Hey, save the tape, Ryan, for 33 years from now. We're still not gonna have another Super Bowl. And Jeffrey Lurie is gonna be fucking 90 years old, creeping around, still making football decisions for this football team.
Jesus. I agree with you.
Book it. We'll still be wearing our 2017 Super Bowl T-shirts. They're going to be all faded and worn.
Yo, we make a deal now. If we're still alive for the 50th high school reunion, that's what we wear.
We're wearing Super Bowl shirts. Fuck them.
Super Bowl shirts.
Fuck them. By then, I mean, it might be like a schmeedy. Might be a sports bra by then, but I'll make it happen. Whatever. I'll get a couple. I'll cut them together.
Oh my Lord.
We're up against it. We got 5 minutes left. Anything for the good of the cause, gentlemen? Any? We got Sixers coming up tonight, so that'll be fun. We got the happy hour coming after. I'll give you a 30-second spot right now. If there's anything you want to talk about, bring up, mention, 30 seconds, then I cut you off. Whoever wants to go.
All right, I'll lead off just real quick. Happy retirement to Shady McCoy. People laugh.
That's what you went with?
Yeah, that's what I went with.
That's what you're going with?
Yeah, happy retirement.
Guy with 2 Super Bowls who didn't play a goddamn down in either one of those games.
It's not even that,
I'm
Jeff.
not talking about the Super Bowls. I just happy retirement.
The history of this show, Jeff, one of the most iconic moments was a 25-minute argument in studio of Chuck's standing up, leaning over Tom, and they're still the same height as Tom sitting down, arguing over Shady, who's the greatest Eagles running back.
Oh, let's cover that. Round 2 is coming.
Shady. And we are
That's
doing
what I was alluding to.
So go ahead. Go ahead, Chuck.
That's what I was doing. Happy retirement. I'm glad it finally came. But no, respect to him and all. To me, it's a Hall of Fame career. And so with his retirement, guys, I don't know when it'll be. It might be a few weeks from now. It might be a few months from now after the draft. But that part 2 of that debate, Westbrook versus Shady, with me being obviously Team Westbrook, is going to come this offseason between me and Pete this time with Chrome and Dad, refereeing.
Did he retire? Is he officially retired, or is he doing that 1 day contract stuff or no?
Probably.
I don't know. Like, he just retired. There's been no. I mean, he could still do the 1 day contract to retire as an Eagle if he wanted to, but no announcement has been made. But
yeah,
regardless, people laugh and I crack jokes about like McCoy and everything like that. But on all seriousness, as a player, I respect his career so much and what he was for the Eagles, and just it's a good thing he was able to, even though he didn't do anything, it's a good thing he was able to go out this way in his career.
Judge Judy, it's a Judge Judy Jeff right there.
Yeah.
Who? All right, who wants to go next? 30 seconds.
I'll go real quick. So tune in tonight, 10 o'clock, Portland Sixers. Keep riding the Embiid from MVP train. Saturday, Phoenix, 3 o'clock, NBA TV. I don't know why, but it's on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Just keep watching the Sixers. The best thing in watching this fucking city right now, because there's no Flyer games right now, and pitchers and catchers in about less than 8 weeks for a real baseball team that wears pinstripes and has red in their fucking colors. And
Bro,
don't cut him out 30 seconds. Don't cut him out 30 seconds.
No, first of all, your 30 seconds is done.
Somebody else go. 30 seconds.
Secondly, you get a 5-second deduction when you say stupid shit like that. Stupid ass shit like that. You literally can't disrespect this team. There's nothing to disrespect. By the way, what'd you guys do this year? Bring the same team back? Hey, Archie Bradley, that's a great signing. Wait, we went out and got Nolan Arenado, got the team who had him to give us $50 million, bro. That's what we did. Huh? What? That's it. We good. Who's next?
Come on, Jays. Go ahead.
Anybody else or no?
No, I'm good.
Not after Chuck saying freaking Shady McCoy has a Hall of Fame career. I'm not saying a damn word.
I'm trying to be respectful here. I'm not even Team McCoy. I'm just trying.
He's not a Hall of Famer. He's still better than Westbrook, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he is. You right. Ryan, you got something?
Chrome, check your messages.
Oh, boy.
There's his 30 seconds.
You'll know why in a second. Yeah, this is my 30 seconds.
It literally says Chrome check your messages. Oh, and the other group. Okay.
Jesus.
Oh, God. Okay. So, Chucks, when we go to that 50-year anniversary or 50-year reunion, that's what we're going to look like.
That's pretty good.
That's
really good.
Is that the old face? The old face filter?
I'm a handsome guy. Not bad, Chucks. We all right.
Yeah, we good.
You kind of look. You definitely look like Mr. Miyagi there.
That should be a season 20, man.
You even have you have the mustache in that picture too, by the way. Great work, Ryan. Great work. That's why it's the best.
That's great.
And for me, I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna plug all the programming here on A2D Radio. Again, Hockey Happy Hour is gonna come at you. Last night, great show from the guys at the Fix and AM and the PM and their combined show. We got so many awesome shows on this program. We had a great interview today earlier with female MMA star Helena Peralta. She was on the YouTube exclusive. Make sure you guys are following us. For Lazy Booking, we have 2 huge interviews already lined up with more to come. So if you missed our Chaz one, Headbanger Mosh from 2 weeks ago, or Nick Aldis one from this week, last night, go and check those out. As well as we have the living legend Larry Zabisco coming up next Tuesday, next week, coming at you at 7:30 p.m. And obviously, for all you guys out there, Candace Michelle, original GoDaddy girl, Playboy cover girl, as well as former WWE Women's Champion and 24/7 champion. And she's doing a lot of awesome stuff, too, in the fitness space right now, which we're pretty excited. We're going to talk to her about all the stuff that she's doing, that and all her entrepreneurship. So if you guys haven't yet, like the videos that you're on, no matter what platform you're on, go follow us on all social media platforms. Hey, by the way, go over and check us out on all the podcast platforms. And make sure that you guys are coming back same time next week. As usual, we always set it for 7:30, but go on at 8 o'clock. So you can expect we're going to be on right around then. Just make sure that you know when we go live, guys, set the alerts. Then you don't have to track it on your phone. You don't have to go looking for us. We'll send it to you and let you know when we're going live. So make sure you guys are doing that. And again, congratulations to Tom and Lena for Baby Cass. We're really excited about that. Latest edition, A2D's first round draft pick of 2021. So that's really, really exciting. And shout out to our sponsors. Let's pay some bills. Specialized Physical Therapy, Dr. Paul Vidal, Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And again, if you yourself is going through any kind of issues with mental health or addiction issues or somebody that you know, please reach out to the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox, 856-651-8117. Really, really big thing going on in this country, guys. We have to look out for ourselves and look out for each other. So please make sure you guys check that out if you need it or you need somebody else or you know somebody else that could use an outlet to reach out to. Body Check Wellness, love them. Riley Cote, Travis, all the guys over there, Todd Hermans. Happy to have them sponsoring us. And you can check them out, bodycheckwellness.com. Promo code A2D. Get you 20% off when Riley's on with the Hockey Happy Hour. They always have a special package that they offer for 40% off. So make sure you guys are paying attention to that. And again, same thing, set your alerts. Guess what? You're going to find out when they're going on. But shout out to them as well. And you guys know about All Campus OC. I'm sure a lot of you guys follow us. All Campus OC, one of our sponsors, was one of the businesses that suffered damage and issues from the fire a couple of weeks ago at the Ocean City Boardwalk in Ocean City, New Jersey. There is a GoFundMe that you guys can either contribute to if you can, and it's okay if you can't. Just do us a favor, give it a share, follow it around, share it around. More people it gets in front of, the more chance there is. We're trying to help them out. Make sure you guys are doing that and get your A2D gear, phillydrinkers.com/pages/A2D-radio. Lots of really cool stuff on there. You see Jeff's got the Birds of a Feather shirt right there. You can get all kinds of things. A2D merch, show shirts, freaking tumblers, shorts, freaking polo shirts. Lots of really cool stuff. Mugs. Lots of cool stuff over there. That shout out to Alex for all he does. phillydrinkers.com. So, yep, we're about a minute away from Hockey Happy Hour. So we're out of here. For myself, Pete, Chucks, I'm still pointing wrong directions. Jeff and Jake, Ryan on the ones and twos in the back. For everybody at A2D, we love you guys. Hop over to Hockey Happy Hour. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a good week.
Peace.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endless that you fear.